Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nicole Reacts Up. My name is Nicole, and I react to LGBTQ movies and TV shows. Today, we are going to be reacting to the, I don't want to say highly anticipated, but definitely anticipated musical episode of the L Word Gen Q Season 3, Episode 6. There's been lots of reactions to it, some good, some not good. I have a lot of opinions about it, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about it. So we actually start this episode where Shane is in a room with 3 other women. Nobody has clothes on, and they are having a great time, I would say. Shane is having a few beers, and maybe she's not having that much of a good time because she sits back, lets the other 3 do their thing on the couch, and she just watches, which very much reminded me of that time back in the original series where she was with 2 other girls in her bedroom, and she did the same thing. Although she did not know back then that she was being watched by her voyeuristic roommate by hidden cameras in the corners of her ceiling. She sits there and watches them have a good time. And we cut to Alice on the phone. Alice, okay? She literally just had a conversation the previous episode with Taylor. And Taylor was saying, "You're too famous. You're too rich. Girl, you are just too bougie for me. And you live in a world where I don't reside. And therefore, we're not a good match." And Alice was so confused. She's like, "Me? Rich? Bougie? No way." And then the following episode, she waltzes into her house with this $5,000 Gucci Adidas collab sweatsuit. And look at all these bags in her hand. We have, let's see. Girl, I don't know what those are. I think that one bag on the right is Ralph Lauren. And on the left, is that Louis Vuitton? Girl, I don't know. Anyway, this sweatsuit was $20 at Fashion Nova, so I don't really know about that. Either way, Taylor had a point last episode, and Alice really is that girl. So she's on the phone with Sophie. Seems that she has organized a company-wide retreat for her employees, paid for by her, and they're going to, well, at this point, we don't know what they're going to do, but she tells Sophie, "Don't wear white." I would either think we are doing something messy like painting or cooking, or something that might make us poop ourselves, which somehow is the actual answer. Alice is ready to walk into her house. She just spent, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars of clothes, and she walks into her own house to this group activity that Shane is partaking in. I just want to say, Kate Menning, bravo on your... Yes, that's a 6-pack, my dear. Bravo on your 6-pack. Alice is flabbergasted, and all she has to say is, "That's a lot of naked people on my velvet couch." And I would have to agree. One naked stranger on your couch, whatever the material, is too much. And so we are back at Finley and Sophie's house. Sophie's packing and she's like, "Don't wear white, don't wear white," okay? And Finley's looking at her phone, scrolling through CarMax.com because clearly they sponsored. Clearly they paid a big dividend to be featured in this episode. And Finley is ready to go purchase her first car. And this is the exact type of car that I would expect Finley to buy, honestly. Now, I know this is not a Prius. I think this is, I don't know the name, but maybe I will put the name here after I do some research. Anyway, it's giving very much Prius energy, and the only thing I know about Priuses are like 2 things. They drive in the HOV lane at 30 miles an hour, and I'm pretty sure that they don't even go more than 30 miles an hour. So it seems that Finley forgot that Sophie had this work trip, and she's all upset that Sophie's going, and she's like, "Oh, well, you're not gonna come with me to CarMax to pick up my car? Like, I'm really disappointed." Like, girl, didn't you know? Do you guys not communicate? Well, this is Sophie I'm talking about, and Finley. So honestly, I don't expect you guys to communicate or do anything properly. So it's clear that Finley is pissed. And Sophie offers to cancel her trip and go with Finley, but Finley's like, "No, it's fine." And honestly, I feel like Sophie already has like 2 feet out the door. And if she was really trying to work on their relationship, she would have definitely stayed. But I don't think she's really given too much of a shit at this point. She's like, "I could stay if you want." And Finley's like, "No." And she's like, "Okay, bye." We cut back to Alice's house that is literally in shambles. There's just beer bottles and liquor bottles and underwear just strewn about. And Alice is helping Shane clean while wearing a pair of rubber gloves, which I don't blame her. And honestly, she should have taken off this very expensive outfit for the occasion as well. You don't know what kind of bodily fluids might be lurking around the premises. And to be honest with you, Alice is not as mad as I thought she should be. Well, she's not as mad as I would be if somebody was staying in my home and throwing sex parties, to be honest. But it seems that Alice was very understanding of the situation and was just only slightly disappointed. The meanest thing that Alice said, which wasn't even that mean, was like, you're kind of a mess right now. And Shane was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Which is like, also, I don't think Shane would have ever done this. This is out of character to do something like this to her friend's house, but we're doing anything these days, so anything goes. So Shane's like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get out of here, I'm gonna get a hotel. And Alice is like, no. You're coming with me on our retreat. And Shane's like, yeah, no, I'm good, thanks. Which is basically what all of her employees are saying as well. So Shane's like, I'm not going on an employee retreat with you when I slept with one of your employees. And Alice was like, oh, Ivy got a job in New York and she moved there. She didn't tell you? Yet another thing that the L word just tells us in passing. Lovely. And I'm guessing Stella also paid to be a part of this episode, and also this vodka brand that I'm not aware of. So this is when we learn that they are going to an ayahuasca retreat, which, if you don't know what ayahuasca is, it is a form of hallucinogenic tea. You generally go to a retreat where the entire situation is controlled. You have shamans or leaders that will be with you through the whole experience. You lay in a room, they make you the tea, you excrete from all angles of your body, and then you have a life-changing experience over the course of the evening. Some people find peace, comfort, healing in this experience, and Alice wants to bring her entire office to this retreat, which I think is inappropriate to kind of make your employees do, but okay, sure. It's more like something that she wanted to do and is turning it into a work retreat. We got to the retreat and it is bougie, let me tell you. The things that I've heard on TV and on podcasts about ayahuasca retreats, nothing like what we are seeing here. We are seeing wealth, we are seeing opulence, we are seeing expensive. What I've heard is like tents in the woods and blankets and buckets to poop in. But of course, Alice is bougie, as we have learned, as Miss Taylor has taught us, and only the best for Alice and her employees. So everybody arrives to the retreat in a like sprinter bus thingamajig, and they all get off. We're all awaited by these hippie looking people in very loosely fitting white cloths, which is funny because I guess they're the only ones allowed to wear white. And Alice goes, I've been having a really culty year, which, you know, she had a first date with somebody in the Nexium cult and was hit on and tried to be recruited. And now she's at an ayahuasca retreat in God knows where, somewhere in the desert, ready to hallucinate and see dead people. She's greeted with some green juice that Lord knows what that is, and a spray in the eye of also God knows what. She loves it. She's into it. She's having a good time right off the bat. Shane, not so much. She gets spritzed in her eyes. The first thing she says, she's like, Jesus Christ. She got me right in the eye. And Alice was like, it's okay, here, drink this. And Shane's like, yeah, no thanks. I'd hate to take away from your experience. So upon arriving to what is supposed to be a relaxing retreat, maybe life-changing even, Sophie's already having a hard time. She's looking at her phone and she's like, oh, I feel terrible. Finley's mad at me. Like, girl, who cares? You're lucky Finley won't answer your calls. That's probably the best thing that she's ever done for you. And she's like, maybe I should go home. And Alice is like, absolutely not. She's like, no, absolutely not. We are here for team building and doing drugs. You're not going anywhere. And then Sophie was like, oh, okay. And Shane was like, hey, if anything, stay for the drugs. And Sophie was like, you right. So Shane is looking cute, standing up against the tree. And she says to Alice, you know, no one believes that this whole retreat is about work, right? And Alice was like, what else would it be about? And she's like, girl, it's about you. And Alice was like, is it? And Alice is like, why would you say that? It's clearly about my staff and my team. And Shane was like, okay, whatever you say, stove. So it seems that they just go right into where they're going to drink their tea. And Alice opens the door and one of the people who works there says, welcome, welcome. And Alice goes, okay, thank you. Yeah, that really cracked me up. I don't know why. And everybody's walking in like, all right. And there's like they're like in a yurt, like a big room with just like mats everywhere and buckets. The mats are to lay, the buckets are to let it all out. So the leader of this entire retreat, who's standing here looking like a wizard, is named Mercury. And Mercury says, we are here to open up our mind's eye. She then asks all the participants to ask themselves what they would like the universe to show them. So they're all thinking, and then they're given a pad or a notebook to write it down. Alice has these cute rainbow nails that I am jealous of. And she writes down, will I ever find the one? Shane writes down, why do I blow shit up? Alice decides to tap her best friend Shane and be like, hey, maybe you were right. Maybe this whole thing isn't about work. Maybe it is about me. And Shane's like, yeah, no shit, thanks. I knew that. Thanks a lot. Now it's Sophie's turn to write down what she wants the universe to tell her. And she asks, is Finley the one for me? And girl, you did not need to do this entire retreat to find out the answer to this, because I will tell you, it is a absolute 100% definite, staggering no. No! No! No. And though I'm not participating in the ayahuasca retreat, in case anybody wants to know, this is my goal for 2023. So they're all being served their hallucinogenic tea. And Shane was like, all right, here we go. And she says, cheers, queers, which made me excited because I have this mug. And the ayahuasca seems to have an immediate effect on the three of them, which I don't know if that's how it works, but what I do know is if you are into RuPaul's Drag Race or you know who Katya is, she was a heavy drug user for many years, currently sober. She explained of how she attempted to do ayahuasca, and when she went there, she did the whole cup of tea and nothing happened, and they gave her a whole second cup of tea and nothing happened. So if that gives you an idea of her tolerance, that's crazy, but that is very rare, and I'm surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's the only one that's ever happened to. Everything starts getting foggy. Everything starts getting dizzy. And Shane expresses what we are all thinking. Please don't let this turn into a musical, which is exactly what we're going to get. It is exactly what no one asked for. Okay, so if we can extract ourselves from the situation for just one moment, and obviously most of us did not want an L-word musical episode. But if we are going to just objectively look at this as a musical episode, so far, I like it, right? As a musical lover, a lover of the arts, the choreography, the cinematography from the ceiling, watching them dance along the floor, the music, it's all good. Nice intro song into what we are all about to experience together. Trip, it's all in your head. We'll see you on the other side. And I have to say, the choreography, I'm really liking it. I'm not gonna lie. I find it funny, actually. So Shane, Alice, and Sophie venture off to wherever the other side is. We start off with Shane. Shane is dressed in what we're supposed to believe is sailor outfits, sailor uniforms. World War II era. You hear the ship's bells ringing. Although we see no ocean in sight, we are supposed to believe we are at the docks. Shane is a sailor coming into town for some respite from the war. Some fellow sailors with the sailor hats come running down the street next to Shane, are like, gee whiz, Shane, by golly, have you seen it? Have you heard the news? Shane stumbles upon a flyer on the floor, picks it up, only to find Tess Vandenberg is playing tonight at Dana's, and wow, we're here at Dana's. What luck, I say. Live tonight. Shane runs ecstatically into Dana's with the flyer in hand, looking for the woman of the hour. As Shane makes her way through the bar looking for Tess, all of these cute girls are just looking Shane up and down like she's a piece of meat. But Shane doesn't see them. That's how you know this is a hallucination. And only sees Tess, walks up to Tess and goes, hey, are you Tess? She goes, I came an awful long way to hear you sing. Tess is like, the show doesn't start till 8, but you could buy me a drink until then. And Shane was like, I can do a hell of a lot better than that. And personally, I'd rather have the drink. Let me tell you, this particular energy drink, which I'm not going to advertise, but starts with a C, wild berry flavor, tastes horrible. That's what I get for trying something different for once. So again, we are going to talk about this musical objectively, right? Pretend that we love the idea of the L-word musical and look at this just as a regular musical, okay? So we start off, a beer slides down the bar to Shane. She catches it and she's clapping and stomping. She's doing a whole bit. There's sailors dancing on the bar. She grabs Tess, gives a little twirl. They start dancing. Shane then runs. A bunch of girls hop onto the bar with her and they do their cute little choreography. Napkins go flying and Shane fishes for Tess back from the crowd. Now, if I had to interpret this choreography, I would have to say that the metaphor is that Shane is trying to get to Tess, but all these girls keep getting in the way. The guys take Shane away by the arms. The girls come in and start dancing in front of her, in between Tess and Shane. And Shane's like, Tess, I'm trying to get to you, but I can't. The hoes are in my way, as they usually are. And as all the people are dancing in between them, Shane tries to find something high to step on and try to get a look at her girl. And they get a glance of each other above the crowd. Then I think it's fitting that Shane gets the steering wheel to the ship. And if there is a more technical word for that, sailors, I am so sorry, but we're going to call it steering wheel here. And of course, Shane is always in control of these situations, right? It's never anybody that's breaking up with Shane. Shane is always the heartbreaker, not the heartbreaky. And it's also fitting for Shane to be steering the ship sideways and making everything go crazy. She's definitely never driven a steady ship. And of course, as usual, she gets overtaken by a group of women. However, Shane does make her way through the crowd, grabs Tess, and runs out of the saloon, aka Dana's. Next hallucination, we have Sophie's. She opens up the door to a 1950s era sitcom, black and white. She's got her hair up in I don't know what you call that, a bob? A nice housewife dress, all made up, wearing an apron. It's all very Leave It to Beaver. She looks at her hand. She sees a ring and she goes, I guess I'm married. Me too, girl. And then she gets into character and she goes, I should probably be in the kitchen. Because, that's where women belong. And in this hallucination, this version of her life, she's playing the feminine role. And Finley is playing the masculine role. We hear the sitcom music start up. Finley walks through the door in a suit, fedora, and a briefcase. Honey, Finley's home. And then it says, starring Sarah Finley in big font. And Sophie Suarez in tiny little font. Because in this life, in this scenario, in this hallucination, Finley is a man getting all the credit, all the effort, all the attention, and Sophie is just the lowly woman getting none of that. So Mr. Finley walks in expecting dinner. It's like, what's for dinner? And she's like, well, I've got the turkey basted and the potatoes are scalloped. And Finley disrespectfully takes off her hat and places it onto Sophie's head as if she were a coat hanger and forcibly gives Sophie her briefcase. She's like, that's great that you've been cooking because we're going to have unexpected guests. When? Oh, right now. It's the boss and I'm up for a big promotion. So instead of you talking, because I hate when you talk and you don't know what to say, because women shouldn't speak, I told him that you have laryngitis. Oh, God. And Sophie doesn't even know what laryngitis is. She's like, Laren, what? So basically, this hallucination is showing that Finley is the star of the show. And Finley is the one that deserves all the credit, all the attention. And Sophie is small and should be quiet and not express her opinions. And nothing she says matters. So I'm guessing this is subconsciously how Sophie feels. In comes Finley's boss, who is Mr. Lee, played by Micah, and his wife, Maribel. So Micah also treats Sophie as a coat hanger and valet. Throws his briefcase at her and coat, gives it to her, and she can't say anything because, she has laryngitis. Some physical comedy slapstick is happening with Micah's coat and Sophie's head. And all of a sudden, Finley breaks character and was like, can we cut? So the scene is cut. The director is Danny, who, let me say, is looking fine in this outfit. I don't know what it is. We usually see her as a very much femme girl, but in this, it's giving a little masculine and it's hot. I like this outfit. So remember, this is all metaphors, right? This is all for Sophie's subconscious, what's happening in her brain. She is having this hallucination, right? And Finley's complaining. She's not funny. She's not giving me anything to work with. And Danny's like, don't worry about it. You're the star of the show. Don't worry about her. This is your show. You're the star of the show. It's all about Finley, which it has seemed that these last entire 2 seasons has been. So I would agree with that. But I'm sure if you're Sophie, that you feel like everything in your life has revolved around Finley, whether it's breaking up your marriage at your wedding day or having to babysit her as she becomes a raging alcoholic, or supporting her during her stint at rehab and then supporting her as she tries to rebuild her life. It's just always about taking care of Finley, which I'm sure is exhausting for Sophie, who is a pretty successful adult. So Danny tells Finley it's all about Finley, and for some reason Danny and Finley kiss, which I don't even understand how that works in this metaphor, but hopefully this is the only time we see it in a hallucination or a nightmare. That's the only time I want to see them two kissing ever. Again, I never want to see it again, actually. Please, don't ever do that again. Thank you. We are now in Alice's hallucination, which honestly was the one I looked forward to the most. We start off in a quiet studio that is immediately illuminated by the lights and the voice of one Miss Eureka O'Hara. If you don't know who she is a superstar drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race, Season 9, Season 10, and All Stars. Eureka is also the star of We're Here, which is a Emmy Award-winning show that brings drag shows into small towns in America. So I like this little crossover of two things that I love, Drag Race and L Word. and hallucinations. So we are on the set of Alice. However, it is not Alice. It is Name That Flaw, where Eureka O'Hara is the host of the show, and Alice's job is to name the flaws of all the people she has dated. It's really cute because Alice is dressed up in an 80s outfit and has a name tag on, and it's all looking very much like she is ready for The Price is Right. Even the font of Name That Flaw is The Price is Right font. So here we are, we're gonna play Name That Flaw. The first question is Tom. Name that flaw, Alice. She said he was too conventional and he wanted to get married too fast. Ding, 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 that is the right answer. 1 point for you, Alice. Second question is Taylor. What's her flaw? Didn't like me enough. Well, yes, that is the answer, and that is a good reason. But the reason that she didn't work out with you was not because she didn't like you enough. You were too bougie. Next question, number 3. Not. And then she says, Gigi. The answer is Gigi. And Eureka, the host, says, the answer is always Gigi. And I agree. Who's the hottest on this show? Gigi. Who do I miss very much? Gigi. Who do I want to come back on the show? Gigi. The answer is always Gigi. The last question of the game is this person that Alice dated for like an episode. I don't even remember their name. And Alice says, Coachella, which just translates to too young for me. Ding, 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 ding. Alice has won the game. Now there's a bonus round that Alice was not expecting, and neither was I, to be honest. She's given this weird picture of herself who looks like a mix of Joan Rivers and Phantom of the Opera. I don't know, but either way, Alice has to find out what her own flaw is. So she decides to turn and ask the audience. That was probably a terrible idea for the ego and for the self-esteem. One person shouts, "You think you're better than everybody else." Someone else said, "You don't rinse your yogurt container before you recycle it," which is funny because she was part of a yogurt commercial. And then every single person in the audience just seems to have something to say, and she's being shouted her flaws at her, which would literally make me cry and leave the room. Eureka makes everybody be quiet and said, "Alice, answer the question. What is your flaw?" Alice says, "I push people away," and she gets it right, which, okay, time out. I don't agree with this. Let's go back in time and go through the relationships that Alice had, okay? As far as I can remember from the top of my head. Gabby DeVoe, she definitely should push away because Gabby DeVoe was emotionally abusive and just played games. So did she push her away? Yes, but she had to. So I guess that doesn't really count. Dana, did she push her away? Absolutely not. She took care of her up to her dying day. Who else was she with? Tasha, did she push her away? I don't know because they never told us how they broke up. They're not together anymore and we're just supposed to assume why. I don't know. But I would guess that she didn't push her away because even when they weren't supposed to be together for all that time in like season 5, she still stuck with her. She should have pushed her away, but she didn't. Did she push Nat away? No, Nat pushed her away because she wanted to be polyamorous. Did she push Taylor away? No, Taylor pushed her away because they were in different tax brackets. Did she push Tom away? Well, supposedly, but we don't know because they didn't show us once again. But Tom did propose in just a few months of hooking up. I don't even know if it was a few months. I would say no as well. I think she was right in saying no. So does Alice push people away? I disagree with this. But apparently this is the correct answer and she wins the whole game. So what does Alice win? Well, she wins her dream life, which I don't know what that is just yet. But she also wins this brand new kitchen, which looks like appliances from the 60s, if I had to guess. When I moved into my house, which was built in the 60s, it literally came with that exact stove. And then this bedroom set looks like it's from the 70s. But the final prize she gets is her dream partner, which is who else? It's Dana! Oh my God, it's Dana! All right, so for those of you who might not have watched the original L Word, Dana was a main character on the show, part of the group of friends that used to hang out with every day. She was just part of that group, part of the main character. She was a famous tennis player and she got breast cancer and passed away. And ever since then, that was about 2005 or 6. A lot of people were angry about that. A lot of people were very upset that they killed her off and have been waiting to see her ever since. So it's been almost 14, 15 years since we have seen her on the L Word, and it was a great thing to see. She shows up as Alice's dream partner, but for some reason, she looks old. And even Alice says, "Why are you old?" And Dana almost seems like her feelings are hurt. And she's like, "You're old too, Al." She was the only one that called Alice Al. Well, actually, no, I think Shane might, but still, Al. Anyway, When I watched this scene and the entire scene that followed, I was sobbing originally. I do instant recap as soon as the episode is dropped on Instagram and TikTok, and you can also find them here on YouTube in my playlists if you want to see my initial reaction and watch me cry. And if you want to watch me cry, what's wrong with you? But also, go watch me cry. Dana's like, I'm old because we get to grow old together. It's part of your dream life. And Alice is like, I'll take it. Like, let's do this. Whatever this life is, wherever you are in heaven, I'm coming with you because Earth ain't shit. And the gayest thing ever is that they have like a whole cat. I don't even know what you call that. A cat structure for cats to play on. How lesbian is that? And we start with another song. And as far as musicals go, this one was not my favorite. In this fantasy, this hallucination of Alice's and they're singing and what their dream life would consist of if they had stayed together forever. Their house has a trophy room full of what I assume to be Dana's tennis trophies. They have a tennis court, of course. They have a wild organic garden, because of course. And Alice is like, wait, do we have kids? And Dana's like, no, we have cat, which of course, cause lesbian. And they have cat sitters because they just travel the world, which honestly, hell yes, girl, that is my dream. So then they start listing the things they would be doing if they were together, ordering Postmates, which is sad because Dana died way before the smartphone, fight for the blankets and fall asleep on their favorite TV show. They continue to dance in their hideous kitchen, listing the sweet things that they would be doing if they were still together. Singing along with the wrong words, talking over me, having a feather pillow fight, dance in the ballroom, ignoring when I call you, a perfectly imperfect life, which just sounds like a normal life, which was what Dana deserved. They then kiss and we get a roaring round of applause from the audience. We cut back to Sophie's black and white hallucination, back to the 1950s where women had barely any rights. We go back to some old banter. Now, I just want to ask to the straights, are y'all okay? Because it's been decades that you just joke and joke and joke about how you hate each other, you don't like to have sex with each other, and you don't even really like each other. They're all enjoying Sophie's cooking. And Micah's like, ha ha ha, I wish I married someone that could cook. And Maribel came with the clap back and was like, I wish you did too. Sophie makes several attempts to talk during dinner and gets shut down by Finley at every turn. And this is where the slow, dramatic piano music starts. And we begin with Sophie's ballad. And as she starts with this power ballad, everyone around her freezes. And let me tell you something. Rosanny Zayas has a voice. Who knew? She sang this all on her own and she has a strong, beautiful voice. Let's clap it up for Rosanny. She starts off the song by saying, nothing that you can say can change my mind. So I'm hoping that this is Sophie's subconscious telling her, I'm done putting Finley before me in every respect of the word, and I'm just gonna take care of me. She said she found her voice beneath the noise. It's all about me. She's saying, I don't care what you say, I'm my number one fan, and starting from today, it's all about me. This is a power ballad of gaining your power back. She has spent like over a year putting everything she has into Finley and trying to mold her into this person that fits into her world, but I don't think Finley fits in her world. And then she gives a very Lin-Manuel Miranda rap on the table. And at this point, nobody's frozen anymore. They're actually having to listen to what she's saying. She rips off her apron. Money ain't a thing. She takes off her earrings. She throws it. She don't need that. She grabs Finley by the tie, pulls her close, and never mind you, it's all about me. And the line that I did like that she said before, she's like, money ain't a thing, but I've been having it, but it didn't feel all the emptiness. True story. She pushes Finley aside and walks through the set with her chest out high. She's proud of who she is, and she's proud that she's going to be an independent woman from now on. She faces the audience. The spotlight is on her, and she is absorbing the energy from the crowd, and I am here for it, honestly. Sophie is way better off with Finley. The song was beautiful. The message was beautiful. Rosanny sang amazingly. It was just 10 out of 10, would recommend. She's signing autographs, and that is the end of that hallucination. We move on back to Shane's hallucination. Shane and Tess are walking down the street in World War II era, some coastal city in America, and it was hilarious when Shane says, I'm not like the others. You're worse than anybody. You're worse than the others. Whatever the others are doing, you're doing 10 times worse. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's somewhere else. And Tess was like, yeah, sure, girl. You have a girl in every port. I've seen girls like you. So Shane's like, oh, well, maybe I haven't settled down because I haven't found the one. And Tess is like, are you saying I'm the one? And Shane's like, I don't know, maybe. And Tess was like, don't say it unless you mean it. And it's like, girl, I need this show to stop pushing chefs down our throat, okay? Stop trying to make fetch happen because we don't believe it. And if you're trying to tell me these two are destined to be together, that's really sad because they do not. And I don't think anybody agrees with you. But here when Shane and Tess are standing there, I've never noticed such a height disparity between the two. I didn't even know that Tess was taller than Shane. They never show them like this, but here we are. You learn something new every day. So they're having this romantic conversation, and then you can hear the girls. There she is. We found her. They're looking for Shane. It's the host. And Tess and Shane decide to split up. And she's like, I'll meet you later. I'll go this way. You go that way. 4 girls come in their dresses, ready to hike them up just for Shane. Shane's climbing ladders to get away from them. So Shane's up on a roof being chased by some random girls. She sees Tess down on the street in her car, and she's like, you have to trust me. It's the only way we'll work out. Of course, this is a metaphor for their actual relationship. And Shane's like, yeah, being with you feels like jumping off this building. Tess is like, you can be with me forever. And Shane's like, forever? And all the girls in the back are like, forever's a long time. Come be with us just for the moment. It's like the devil on your shoulder when you have like an angel here and a devil here and they're pulling you from both angles. So the girls start singing and dancing. They're like, Shane, 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 Shane. Here goes my phone. Tess is like, I thought you were different. Was that all a lie? And Shane was like, no. But yes, it was a lie. Tess is like, jump, Shane, jump. And then all the hoes grab Shane, preventing her from jumping. We cut from that hallucination back to Alice's. She's still in her 1970s bed with Dana in her dream life. And Dana's laughing at Alice like, I don't know how you thought you were going to handle a throuple. You're one of the most sensitive people I know. So Dana says, Nat was very nice. And Alice says, yeah, she reminded me a lot of you. And Alice is like, wait, is that what I do? Am I always trying to find you, Dana, and everyone else? And Dana's like, yes, that's exactly what you do. And then Dana grabs Alice's arm and brings her over to have her be the big spoon. This is the second time Alice is the big spoon in this season. This song made me cry. This is where I was sobbing. If you want to go, check out the playlist. I'll leave the link right here and the link down below to go watch videos of me crying to these songs. This whole video gives me vibes of Hopelessly Devoted to You, Olivia Newton-John in Grease. The lyrics are, you were my person. Some say we only get one. Now it's all making sense because I have the worst luck with love, which means that Dana was her one person, but Dana passed away. They can check every box, but no one knows me like you do, Dana. Maybe I should just give up on love and stop trying to fill your shoes. Because nobody is you. And that's pretty much the chorus. And here in the song that killed me is she says, you are my sunshine, my only lifeline, and I've waited for this day. Which, of course, if you know from the original L Word, when Dana passed away, Alice had left her bedside to go buy her a gift from the gift shop to make her smile. And she bought this little dancing sunflower that sings, you are my sunshine. So she continues to sing this song, Nobody Is You. And it's really beautiful and sad, and it made me cry a lot. And apparently a lot of other people cried as well. Let me know down in the comments below if you also cried, because I definitely ugly cried. Let's put a picture of what I looked like the other night. So singing this song, Alice grabs Dana. They walk up this staircase to nowhere. There's like this blue sky with stars, and it just looks like my 3rd grade picture background. And it's just a beautiful moment that Alice gets to see Dana and hang out with her for a little while, even if it's just in her hallucinations. So Alice is like, yo, real life is whack. I want to stay here forever with you. And Dana's like, I know, me too, but you can't. Alice is like, I just want to stay here. It's over for me out there. I missed it. And Dana says something very important. She says, you missed it, but not with me. You have to go back. Now, who did Alice miss it with? She says, the one is still out there for you. Alice is like, what? Who is it? Do you know who it is? And Dana's like, of course I know. I sent them to you. So Alice's next question is, do they know you too? And Dana says, in a way, which in a way eliminates all of the friends and pretty much everybody we know. And I think the only person that's left would be Tom, because Tom helped Alice write the book about Dana. So Alice starts to wake up and they start to grow further and further apart. And Alice is like, no, I want to stay with you. And Dana's like, you can't, you have to go back. So we cut back to Shane on the roof being pulled by them hoes. Tess is down on the street in her car and is like, I knew you were just like everybody else. And Shane's trying to leave, but she's being held back by the women. And she's like, no, Tess, no. Shane goes, runs, and jumps off of the roof. So the metaphor here is Shane has to take the plunge to fully commit to somebody. But we've seen her do this time and time again. She commits for a little while and then it doesn't end up working out. So what makes me believe that this would work out this time? So now everybody is coming back. We got Sophie, Shane, and Alice coming back from their hallucination, and they are back with the big ensemble of dancers saying, welcome back. We hope you enjoyed your trip. Get it? Come back soon. And they're all dancing, and the three of them are also dancing with the ensemble. They all start to drowsily wake up from their dreams. So Alice and Shane, they get up together, and Alice is just thinking about what Dana said. She said, the person who is the one for you, did they know Dana? In a way. So Alice is looking at Shane like, in a way, you knew her. Girl, she knew her personally, not in a way. She knew her. That's not her. It's not Shane. But you know what? She's drowsy. She's still a little high. She looks at Shane like, is Shane the one? And she leans in to kiss Shane, and they go lean in, and they actually kiss for like 1 second, and then they both pull away, knowing it was a mistake. They're both screaming. Sophie's over there like looking in horror with the same face that Alice had when she saw Shane and Jenny kissing in the original L Word. And they scream, and Alice is like, I'm really, really high. I'm really, really high. I'm sorry. So with all their dreams, they all have epiphanies. Sophie's like, I gotta go see Finley. Shane's like, I gotta go see Tess. It was really cute. Shane and Alice have a moment, and she's like, guess what? I saw Dana. And Shane is just a supportive friend. She doesn't even ask any questions. She's just like, you did? How is she? And she's like, she said the one is still out there for me. And they walk off, and it was a beautiful moment between two besties. So Alice decides to go home and go through her box of stuff. She pulls away her book that she wrote, and underneath that is the toy that she bought Dana in the hospital that sang, you are my sunshine, and never got to give her because she passed away. And I'm surprised that she saved it all these years, but I believe that I would too. So anyway, she sees it and she's taken aback. She has a moment. She pauses, and the music playing is like a sad guitar plucking song with a woman singing, you are my sunshine. And this is where I cried again. So she's staring at this toy thinking, and she's like, who could it be? There's the one for me. Then right next to it is the book that she wrote with Tom. She stares at the book and then is like, I know who it is. I know who it is. She grabs her phone, which is also yellow like mine, and says, hey, it's been a long time. You around? ? And we all assume it's Tom. It has to be Tom. Who else would it be? Everybody knew Dana, and the only person who knew Dana in a way would be Tom, because they sat there and wrote that book together, and Tom was the one that pushed Alice to write the chapter about Dana and express those emotions. It has to be Tom. And let me tell you, for those of you who are watching this way into the future, right now, we don't know exactly who it's going to be, but we all assume it's Tom. And the social media is going crazy with anger that it's going to be Tom, because nobody really thinks that they're meant to be together. And I also don't think that they're meant to be together either. But here we are. We're going to probably see them get together next episode. And also, another clue that Tom is the one was because Dana said, you missed it, but not with me, which means Alice missed it with Tom when she left Tom. So clearly the person she's meant to be with was there, but she jumped off the ship. Sophie arrives home. Finley is super excited to let Sophie know, listen, I bought myself a car. Things are going to be different now. I did this on my own. I'm so glad that we had time away. This is going to be great. We're going to be like the power couple. Finley's like, I have so much shit that I want to do, and it's just hard when we're together. Yeah, maybe that's a good sign that you guys should not be together. And then Finley says the most hilarious thing she's ever said in her entire life. She's like, we're going to be life coaches after this. Like, girl, I would never take a bit of advice from you. Not now, not never. Anyway, Sophie was like, yeah, about that. See, I cannot do this anymore, and I don't want to be with you anymore. She said, I love you, but I am not my full self when I'm with you, Finley. And that's it. She broke up with Finley. We then cut to Shane coming to her own house looking for Tess. Tess comes off the balcony. She didn't lock herself out this time. She's very, very quiet. She comes in, she doesn't say a word, and just Shane starts talking and talking and talking. It seems that Tess has already been crying, which makes me believe something has happened to her mother. So Shane's like, I'm gonna change. I don't want to be a hoe anymore. I promise I'm gonna change, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't really believe it, but okay, that's what we're supposed to believe. And she's like, I want you to give me another chance. Will you give me another chance? And Tess is like, yes, I'll give you another chance. And she starts crying like hysterically. And Shane's like, I'm sorry, I didn't say this to make you cry. Please don't cry. Why are you crying? crying, and then Tess says exactly what I thought was gonna happen. She goes, my mom died, and that's the end of the episode. Which, like, of course. And there you have it, folks. That was L Word Gen Q Season 3, Episode 6, the musical episode in the books. I really thought I was going to hate this episode. Nobody really wanted a musical episode. However, I can see that the music really carried the story, and I can appreciate how, right? It brought Shane to a conclusion, right? That she wants to be with Tess. It brought Sophie to the conclusion that her life revolves around Finley and she doesn't want it to anymore. And it brought Dana to all of us, not just Alice. We got to see Dana again for the first time in over a decade, and Alice got to find out that the one is still out there for her. So all in all, good episode. I cried a lot. Let me know in the comments if you cried, and let me know if you didn't cry. Let me know what your thoughts were. And some of you who watch my videos may see that I am in a new set, right? This is just 5% of what the finished look is going to be. Hopefully by next week, we have the complete look. I can't wait to show you guys. But this is just a sneak peek of what's to come. I'm super excited for all the changes that we are making. Everything is going great coming into this new year, 2023. I can't wait, and I hope you all have a fantastic new year as well. Thank you for watching my video. Please hit the subscribe button below. And if you haven't already, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. You can also visit my online shop where you can find cute stickers and shirts designed by me, inspired by my favorite LGBTQ TV shows and movies. Once again, I'm Nicole, and thank you for watching. And we'll see you next week on another episode of Nicole Reacts Up. Bye.